And my number one guy is Ashton Genty. I think he's going to finish as the highest fantasy rookie. So Quin Shaw, I think he can do everything. He can get the hard 3-yard runs. He can hit the long runs. He can block. He can catch. He can do all of that. I think Travis Hunter could be a league winner this year, though. Just potential. The league losers. Shador Sanders. Browns have never had a good fantasy quarterback. Jaden Blue could easily beat all three of those guys out and become the Cowboys' starting running back. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Catching a Vibe. I'm your host, Drew, and today we're doing the NFL Draft Impact, the league winners and league losers, and some sleepers for the rookies for the 2025 fantasy football season. All right, we're going to start off with league winners. And my number one guy is Ashton Genty. I think he's going to finish as the highest fantasy rookie this year. I mean, Genty is going to get the ball a lot this year, and he's going to produce. The Raiders have improved a lot on offense from last year. I mean, Geno is a way better quarterback than the trash cans the Raiders were throwing out there on a week-to-week basis. And with Pete Carroll as a head coach now, we've seen Pete Carroll want to run the ball and run it down more. He's a smash mouth type coach. He wants elite running back in his system, and Genty is as good as it gets. He's going to just dominate for this Raiders offense. They need an identity, and I think Ashton Genty is going to bring that in, and I think Genty should be a top 3 round pick in fantasy, probably top 2. He's probably going to go in the second round in fantasy this year. So I love Ashton Genty. Only concern is how good is his Raiders offensive line going to be for him? But I think he's going to get the opportunities and he's going to get the touches. So you got to pick Ashton Genty. All right, my next guy is Quin Shaw. The Browns drafted him in the second round. I think this is a really good spot for Quin Shaw. I said in my player comp video, Quin Shaw reminds me a lot of Kareem Hunt, but he's faster. He has better vision. And I could see him having a similar year that Kareem had in 2020. Kareem had 200 carries, 800 yards, and 6 touchdowns, and 5 receiving touchdowns. I think this Browns offense is not going to be great, but I think he's going to be a bright spot in that dysfunctional team. I think the Browns are tanking this year to get Arch Manning next year. I know they drafted 2 quarterbacks, but I don't see those 2 being a long-term fit for the Browns. So Quin Shaw, I think he can do everything. He can get the hard 3-yard runs. He can hit the long runs. He can block. He can catch. He can do all of that. And I think this is a good place for Quin Shaw and the Browns. And I think he'll be a running back 2 this year for your fantasy teams. Wouldn't say RB1 yet, but I think he's going to split some time with Dylan Sampson, who they drafted in the 4th round, and Jerome Ford is still there. So he's going to split some time, but I think he is going to be the number 1 back in Cleveland. My next guy is another running back, Omari Hampton. He went to the Chargers in the 1st round. This is a great landing spot for Hampton. He is such a hard and physical runner. And he's going to a team that's their identity, is running the ball. Harbaugh loves running the ball. They have Najee Harris on 1-year deal. That kind of scares me, but I think they both could have a good season this year. Omari had 281 carries last year, 1,600 yards, and 15 touchdowns for North Carolina. Omari is a stud. I think he's a great player for this Chargers offense, and I think he could finish as a top 20 fantasy running back this season in fantasy. So I'm very high on Omari Hampton. My next guy is, you got to have Travis Hunter in there. I mean, he was picked 2nd in. The Jags sold their soul for him pretty much. The only thing is he going to play majority receiver? Is he going to play corner more? I've heard that they've talked about him playing majority receiver, so that's a great thing for fantasy, and it helps too because Brian Thomas Jr. is receiver 1 on that team, and Travis Hunter's going to get matchups against the corner 2 on teams, and he's going to make plays for the Jags. And the Jags pretty much just reset it. Like Evan Ingram's gone. You know, all they have is Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter as their weapons. So I like Travis Hunter with the Jags. I think he'll be good, and I'm just not sure how high I can put him yet without hearing how much playing time he's going to get at receiver if he's going to play corner too. So I think Travis Hunter could be a league winner this year, though. Just potential. My last guy for a league winner is Caleb Johnson. Steelers drafted him, and I like Caleb Johnson a lot. And I think this is a good team for Caleb, too, to flourish. Last year, he had 240 carries, 1,500 yards, and 21 touchdowns for Iowa. I'm surprised Iowa even scored 20 touchdowns last year. But with Najee gone, I see him filling that role that Najee had. But I think he can do it better than Najee. He's a little faster than Najee, and I think Caleb and Jalen Warren will be a nice little duo for the Steelers. Only thing that concerns me is their quarterback play. Mason Rudolph cannot be the starter for the Steelers, so I fully expect Aaron Rodgers to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers, but Caleb Johnson, as of right now today, I would draft Caleb Johnson as like an RB4. Has a good ceiling, but has a safe floor as an RB4. So I like Caleb Johnson with the Steelers. Now we're on to the league losers. Now, I'm not saying all these guys are going to be a bust, but initially, right after a draft, I'm not super high on them. Number 1 is Shador Sanders. What are the Browns doing? Drafting 2 quarterbacks. They have 5 quarterbacks on their team right now. They could have went receiver or offensive line. I'm not sure about Shador and how much playing time he's actually going to get this year. 2 running backs. I like the Quin Shaw pick and the Sampson pick, and I like Fannin too. But just I wish they would have got a receiver. And plus, I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to be going back to that running heavy team that they were a couple of years ago. So Shador, I'm not sold on him yet. I'll see how he plays in training camp, and I would not draft Shador as a fantasy quarterback this year. Plus, the Browns have never had a good fantasy quarterback. Baker was good for the last 8 games in 2020, but other than that, they really haven't had a viable fantasy quarterback. My next guy is Coulson Lovelin. I think Coulson is a good player, and he's going to the Bears, who the Bears have just loaded up this offseason, but there are so many weapons on that team now. You got DJ Moore, you got DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, Rome Odunze. They even drafted Luther Burden too, and Coulson Lovelin. Is he going to be the starter over Cole Kmet? I just don't think so. I think he's going to be a good football player for his team, but fantasy stats, I'm not sure of. So I'm out on Coulson this year. Or if they trade Cole Kmet, then I'm all in on Coulson Lovelin with the Bears. My next guy is the first overall pick, Cam Ward. The Titans' weapons and inexperienced offensive line scares me for Cam this year. I like Calvin Ridley, but he's not a receiver 1. His best year was with the Falcons, and Julio Jones was getting the number 1 corner matchups. And I like the run game with Tony Pollard and Spears, but just not sold on Brian Callahan as a head coach. They drafted 3 skilled players and even picked up Cam's guy, Xavier, from Miami, but I'm not ready to call Cam Ward a starting fantasy quarterback yet. I think he has a potential in the future, absolutely, but just right now I couldn't. And he might be worth a super late round pick in fantasy as a QB3 maybe for teams, but I can't draft Cam Ward. All right, my last guy. I want to say I like him. I like this pick a lot. Is Ameer Ibuka for the Bucks. It's just how many weapons they have that scares me, and why I don't think he'll be great this year in fantasy football. They got Mike Evans, obviously, Mr. 1,000 yards. Chris Godwin, they just re signed, 3-year deal. A little injury prone, but he's still one of the best receivers in the league. Jaden McMillan, towards the end of the year, if you guys remember, he was balling for this Bucks team. Then Ameer Ibuka, they have Rashad White. They have Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving was running wild as a rookie last year, so just this is a great draft pick by the Bucks, and Mecca is going to be a stud. Like if you're in a dynasty league, I would love a Mecca a lot, but just as a normal, just focus on 2025 season, I'm not sold on Mecca. I think he could have like a Rome Odunze type season last year. Rome had 54 catches, 700 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Guys, that's not good in fantasy. Only 3 touchdowns. That's not great. That's not even a flex player. Maybe if you are in a deep league, he's worth having on your bench because he could absolutely have big games. Just I don't think he could be a fantasy starter. All right, now my sleepers. So 4 of the last 5 seasons, a rookie receiver has been in the top 10. So who's that going to be this year? Is it going to be Travis Hunter, Emeka Ibuka, Matthew Golden? I don't think any of those guys. I think the guy with the best chance is Tedric McMillan with the Panthers. He'll be receiver 1 for the Panthers this season, guys. All the other rookies are in crowded receiving rooms, and I just think he could finish as the best. Adam Thielen, he's 45 years old. He has adult diapers under his pads now. That's how old he is. Xavier Leggett, nobody can understand him. I don't think he's receiver 1 for the Panthers. So if Bryce Young is going to have a breakout year, I think it's going to be because of Tedric McMillan. He has Drake London upside, guys. So I like Tedric a lot. I think he could be a really good rookie receiver in fantasy. My next guy is Jaden Blue, who went to the Cowboys in the 5th round from Texas. The Cowboys running back room is lackluster. Jaden could beat out Javonte Williams. We saw Sean Payton just shade away from Miles Sanders, who's been injury prone. He's only had 1 good year, and that was with the Eagles getting tackled at the 3-yard line every play. And Deuce Vaughn, who's 5'8". Like, he could easily beat all 3 of those guys out and become the Cowboys' starting running back. And I think a lot of people expect the Cowboys to have a bounce back year offensively for sure. So anytime you can find a starting running back late in the fantasy draft, that's awesome value. So Jaden Blue, I have my eyes on. My next guy is Trayvon Henderson. I know they're Buckeye, but people are a little worried. Is he actually going to get playing time? I think he will. Ramondre Stevenson in the last 2 years has been disappointing, and this isn't the guys who drafted Ramondre. This is Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff. So I would not be surprised if they made Trayvon the starter because Trayvon can do everything. He's a big play threat every play. He can get the hard yards now. He can block. He can do everything. So, in that Patriots young offense, they're going to be leaning on Trayvon and Drake May. My last guy for the sleepers is Mason Taylor, the Jets rookie tight end. The Jets don't have a real threat at tight end, so I could see Mason just becoming the starter from day 1. Fields likes his tight ends. Cole Kmet had his best seasons with Justin Fields. So I'll be keeping my eye out for Mason Taylor, see how he's doing in OTAs and training camp. And I think he could have real upside to be a starting fantasy tight end this year. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. And if you're new here, please subscribe. I mean, from now on, I'm going to be posting fantasy football content. I want you to win your fantasy league. So please do so, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.